gotta trust me. Hopefully you trust me, but you know, maybe not. Maybe don't trust them. Trust me, it's cool. Burning your art is harder than you might think. I'm a sketchy dude. Kind of an interesting story in this. Yeah, it's cool. It's a good thing I'm not doing this live. Oh man, cyclist scared the crap out of me. Hello friends, I have a thought experiment for you today. About 97 of you received something in the mail in the last year that looked a lot like this. Some of my art. It's a postcard project. If you got one of these, each one's individually numbered. If you look on the back, this one's number 91. I've got 3 left. If you haven't got one, hey, send me a message, respond to my emails, or hit me up on Instagram, and one of these could be yours. And of course, I'll have more postcards coming out in the future, so you might want to get on that mailing list anyway. What is a postcard like this worth? You could say it's only worth the paper it's printed on. You know, it's a 10-cent card, 3-cent label. Maybe you give me credit for the stamps. You know, you're in the 50 to 75-cent range. Well, hopefully it's worth more than that to you. On the other hand, you know, maybe it's priceless. Piece of advice. If someone says that they gave you a priceless piece of artwork, maybe don't take their word for it. How do you trust somebody? It's one of a kind. No two alike. Original, signed by the artist. There's only 100. You have one of 100 in your mailbox. Signed original by the artist. Maybe it's priceless. You don't just want to take one person's word for it. One of a kind. No other like this in the world. You own a masterpiece. Someone says it's one of a kind, maybe don't trust them. Like, on the other hand, it's one of a kind. There's no more like these in the world. Hopefully you trust me, but you know, maybe not. I'm a sketchy dude. I don't think it's probably priceless, because if it was, you'd have resold yours on eBay by now, but I know you guys are hanging on to them. It's somewhere on the spectrum from priceless to worthless. So how do you evaluate that? Well, I want to make the value of your postcard go up. I'm gonna maybe double it, maybe triple it. And that's the thought experiment today. It's a little magic trick, and in order to do it, I have to go outside. So I'll be right back. See you out there. Hey, I know I promised you a magic trick, but I realize there's another concept I need to get across before that magic trick will work. The more authentic something is, the more value it has. Would you agree with me that if I were to print out duplicates of my art, every time I reprint it, the value of that art would go down a little bit? This would be very hard to forge. Maybe you're skeptical. You would have to find flowers the exact same as the flowers I used and press them against the paper and apply heat in the exact same way that I did. You'd also have to do it on an actual label, forge my signature too, because there's a signature on the back in order to forge this. In terms of authenticity, these should rank pretty high because they'd be impossible to replicate. So now that you know that concept, let's do that magic trick. One more thing for the magic trick, authenticity. So how do you verify authenticity? It'd be nice if there was a third party that could authenticate that artwork so that you have a little bit more trust in it. That's where postcards actually have one more unique feature. If you look at your postcard, there's actually a built-in mechanism for authentication beyond just my autograph, beyond just the originality of the art itself. You can find it on the back. There's a stamp from the post office. In a way, this artwork is authenticated by the US government through the US Postal Service. Depending on how much you value the authenticity of the US government, maybe that increases the value, maybe it decreases it, but it is essentially a government institution authenticating your artwork. There is a downside, of course, to using the US government to authenticate your artwork, and that is that in order to go through the Postal Service, the card could be damaged. In this case, this one's been through the mail twice because I've gotten the address wrong, so you can see it even has a return slip on it. I gave up on it after two attempts. So this one's actually double authenticated, maybe twice as valuable. If you look at it, you see a little bit of scuffing at the top, and there's the barcode when it runs through the post office machines. You might not like that. I actually like it because it sort of makes the postman a collaborator in this art project. Like, those marks aren't just for me. So I kind of like these things going through the mail rather than going, you know, sticking them in an envelope. That would be another way you could do it, of course, is you stick it in an envelope and then never open it, and it's sealed and signed by the post office. Of course, then you could never enjoy it because you'd never be able to open the envelope. But there's actually another way to authenticate artwork. It's called non-fungible tokens, NFTs. I'm gonna come back to that concept after the magic trick. It's time for the magic trick. One simple trick. Right now, we've got 2. If we were to destroy this one, the value of it would go up. So we're gonna create artificial scarcity. And that's the magic trick. And that trick is fire. Let's see if this works. One simple trick. One simple trick. One simple trick. Imagine this is your postcard, and just feel what happens as this postcard is destroyed. This thing. Now let's watch this postcard burn. Let's see if this works. Come on, this is the moment of truth. I don't believe this. One simple trick. All right, let's watch this postcard burn. It's a good thing I'm not doing this live. Pro tip, check your lighters before you go on a walk to burn your artwork. Explaining NFTs obviously is beyond the scope of this video, but what if you could apply these ideas of authenticity and scarcity to the digital space? Well, that's what NFTs do. It's a way of connecting digital assets, like say a JPEG, to the blockchain. Printing press can just keep printing duplicates of something. Well, it's even worse online because all you have to do is right click on a JPEG and you have an exact copy of the art. It's the same reason a JPEG of the Mona Lisa is worthless and people stand in line for hours to see it in a museum. So art can be worth so much because it's one of a kind. Imagine if there were 50 versions of Vincent van Gogh's art. That's where NFTs come in. So NFTs are a way of connecting digital assets to the blockchain. And once it's attached to the blockchain, it's one of a kind. It's signed and only one person can own it. And there's a running history on the blockchain of everyone who's ever owned it, which is very similar to what we talked about the US government signing a postcard with a postmark. Except in this case, you don't need a government to authenticate it. And that's the beauty of crypto in general, is you don't need a third party, whether you trust them or not, to authenticate the artwork. NFTs are a perfect way to verify authenticity and to ensure scarcity. But is it valuable? It's easy to mistake authenticity and scarcity for value. Just like the printing press, anybody could print NFTs. So while NFTs solve a lot of problems around authenticity and scarcity, they actually create a new problem because it's so easy to create an NFT that the markets can just get flooded with thousands and thousands of scammers looking to capitalize on that trick. One simple trick. That you're gonna mistake authenticity and scarcity for value. And that's the downside of NFTs, is once people realize that you could just print your own, create a factory to spit out NFTs, of course that's what happened. The space is just like anything else where people are trying to game the system. So if you go on OpenSea, you're just gonna see an open sea of garbage. It's easy to get caught up in the hype and forget what really makes artwork valuable. And now maybe you see where I'm going with this. That authenticity is important, scarcity is important, but at the end of the day, the value comes from the artist and the original thought that went into the creation. And that's what you should be supporting. So I'm out walking, making this video, and something really cool happened. There's a spot here where a lot of graffiti artists like to paint under the bridge. And a while back, I added my contribution in the form of cicada label art, which might be a little weird if you're not following me on Instagram, but trust me, it's cool. Let me show you what I found. So check this out. What you see there is a little cicada sticker that I added to this bridge a month or so ago. But there's something new. Look at that. An artist collaborated with me and added this little mark to it. How cool is that? Same graffiti artist that's painting down there under the bridge saw my little cicada and decided to collaborate. Is that not awesome? Ah, man, I just love it. Video is a new format for me, so I'm still experimenting. If you like this or have suggestions, send them my way, because it's a little bit more work than just posting on Instagram and writing a weekly email. And I'm not sure it's worth it, but if you like it, maybe I'll make more. Piece of junk. There we go. All right, got the lighter working. Let's try this. One simple trick. So to recap, 2 postcards. It's actually 100. If you own one of those 100, I want you to feel what it feels like as this burns. So the magic trick is simply to create artificial scarcity. We're gonna do that by burning it. So as that burns, in theory, this should have nothing to do with this. What it does, they're connected. They're 2 of a kind. And of course it stops burning. Kind of an interesting story in that this... You can hear me? Yeah, it's cool. Burning your art is harder than you might think. It's the circle of life. This thing started with heat and it will end with heat. See if I can keep this going this time. Nope. Speaking of NFTs, there's also a burn function built right into the code. Say I gifted you a NFT and then you wanted to destroy it. You can burn your token by sending that NFT to a burn address, and then no one else in the world could own it. Probably a lot easier than actually burning this postcard. Ooh, that's warm. No, let's try it one more time. Sure. You know what? This thing's not gonna burn. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save it. Hey, maybe you wanna buy it. How much would you give me for this burnt postcard? As I'm editing this video, it just became so obvious what I need to do. I have to create an auction. I have to convert this into an NFT. So that's what I'm gonna do. There's gonna be an auction on OpenSea. I promise this whole video wasn't, maybe don't trust them. It wasn't just a ploy to get you to bid on my NFT. Trust me, it's cool. I really did plan on burning this whole thing, but creative process, I think it's a cool thing that happened. All right, you ready for a second magic trick? So the second magic trick is I'm gonna take that postcard that you received in the mail and I'm gonna increase its value. Not by burning another postcard, by turning it into a non-fungible token. So the real point of this video was to make an announcement. I would like to connect those 100 postcards that I sent to the blockchain. I wanna make an NFT of every single postcard. That's right, if you have a postcard, you're now gonna have an NFT. Here's what we're gonna do. That postcard that you received in the mail, I want you to take a picture of it and send it to me. Email or connect with me on Instagram, you know how to reach out to me. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you instructions on how you can claim the NFT. I'll send you instructions because I'm sure a lot of you haven't actually purchased NFTs, and that's fine. What you can do with that is you can keep it, hold on to it, collect it, or maybe you want to sell it. That's cool too. As that NFT is sold and hopefully it passes from person to person, that's a cool part of the blockchain because everybody that interacts with that token will be recorded forever, for all time. And your address will be the first one on the list, forever marking you as the original recipient of that postcard. So now that postcard you have is triple authenticated. It's authenticated because A, I signed it, B, because it's authenticated through the government, through the postal system, and 3, it's authenticated on the blockchain. So 3 layers of authentication. I mean, what does that do to the value of your postcard? Double it? Triple it? And that's the magic trick. You've taken a postcard, which had somewhere between 0 to infinity value, and wherever you think it fell on the spectrum, does it feel different now? I wonder if this will go through the mail. You know, if I just stuck a stamp on it, just as it is. There's only one way to find out. While I'm doing that, I figure I might as well put the remaining postcards up as NFTs too. So these 2 last ones that I was gonna send through the mail anyway, I'm gonna convert them to NFTs first, and then the winner will get these in the mail. While I'm at it, I might as well throw this 4th one in the mix. This is the one that's already gone through the post office twice. I'm not exactly sure why anyone would want a postcard that's already been mailed to somebody else. I'm not judging. Derek, sorry. If you want your postcard, you're gonna have to bid on it. I don't want to say too much, but I can't let you go without telling you about a couple of NFT projects I have coming up, and they have to do with my books. Both my books are filled with illustrations that I've done. There's a real great opportunity to convert those to NFTs. If you haven't seen my books, I've got Art of the Living Dead and User Zero. I got a really cool idea about the cover of this that works so well with NFTs. Here's a few illustrations from User Zero that might make it up into NFTs. How this would work would be you'd win the auction and then I would send you the artwork and you'd have the digital stamp of authenticity through the NFT. I like this one. There's a chapter about self-driving cars. So a lot of cool stuff coming up. So follow me, get on my list so that when those things become available, you're first in line because I'm so excited about it. It's gonna be really cool. I'm on Instagram at ADE3, and you can find more about my work on my website, adrian3.com. Thanks for sticking with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. Stay creative. Bye.